Welcome to the MC Squared podcast. This is episode number 33, and Andrew McNeil is with me, Jimmy McCanna, in the underground, above ground room.
Secret location.
Secret location. We'll just go with that.
There we go.
We're back, and it's been a little bit of time.
It has.
What have you done that's been fun?
Well, since we last talked, I've been scraping and painting the backside of my house with my wife. So that's what we've been working on. Pretty happy about it.
That's
yeah.
good.
So we've got a over 100-year-old house, and I think the paint job's probably a little over 10 years old, and so it starts to chip and all that sort of stuff. And it's wood siding, so you don't have a lot of choice. You've got to scrape it and paint it. I mean, unless you're going to get rid of it, which we don't want to do. It's really kind of cool, but and we don't want to pay for somebody to paint the whole thing. That's a lot of work. Yeah, it is, and we may actually end up paying for somebody to paint the rest of the house next year. But I really wanted to get the back done and at least see if we could do it, because we've never done it before.
Nice.
So, yep, we're just about done. And
I have vinyl siding.
Yeah, that's nice, because all you got to do is wash it.
Power wash it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a cool house, though.
Yeah. So,
well, that's what you've been doing for like 3 weeks.
Well, it feels like it. It feels like it. Yeah.
It feels like it.
What about you?
Oh, not a whole lot.
Bought a car for your daughter?
You don't like this. Oh, Drew says that didn't look very good.
Well, it's probably you being away from your mic.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, anyway, yeah. Bought a car for my daughter. She's going to be driving. She turns 16 next month. Be driving first part of next year. Going to have a permit. And, yeah. Yikes. Adding the vehicles to the household. But it's all good. I like car shopping.
No, you don't.
I do.
You do?
I just have a hard time making the decision. And I had about 4 of them get away from me. But, yeah, it's kind of a pain, but that's all good. I do like cars. I get emotional attachments to vehicles.
What?
Yes, and so I have trouble getting rid of them. My last vehicle, I actually undersold it because I knew somebody was going to take care of it. So I took a hit on it because it was going to be taken care of in the future, and because I do care about my vehicles. So it's ridiculous, but it's just kind of the way I'm made. So no, that's about it. Just the hospital world's still going on, and.
Yeah, and how's that merger, by the way?
Well, we have this date of the 120 days. It's supposed to be, I believe, December 5th. And so we'll know December 5th, yes or no.
Okay, so they're going to announce it to the press. They're going to announce it privately. Union going to announce it. What's going to happen?
No, it'll be internal union, and then probably 10 minutes later to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be all over. I mean, a lot of people think it's dead. I've heard a lot of people think it's dead because of the federal FTC was investigating it or they were pushing back against it, but they really don't have a say. It's at the state level. It'll be interesting. There's a lot of stuff that goes on down there that we don't know about from a hospital side. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's a lot of positives for our community too. So,
well, I think it's good for Terre Haute because, frankly, I think without this, Regional's in trouble.
Yeah, they are. I really think somebody would swoop in and buy them, and they could do whatever they want with it. Really,
just as long as it wasn't IU. Because there would be, I don't know if the IU's ever expressed interest, but we really don't. I don't know. I prefer to keep them out of Terre Haute.
I don't think IU is in the financial place right now to buy stuff. And I have also heard that they may have been told that they're not supposed to be buying up any more hospitals.
Yeah,
because they are pretty much taking over the state. So
yeah, they are.
But they make a lot of money, so that's what they do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so health's big business.
Unfortunately, it is. In this area.
Well, this is the last podcast before me and Jimmy were talking about one of the most important, influential, elections of our lifetime. Thinking back, I think obviously the Carter to Reagan time was a huge shift in our country, and we were reeling as a country from 4 years of definitely, just a weakened America, the energy crisis. We had inflation out of control. And the morale of Americans in 1979 going into 1980 was just extremely low. We weren't proud to be Americans. We had our hostages in Iran. We went to go rescue them and had a complete disaster militarily trying to do it in the desert. And it was just a really, really bad time. And things turned around with Ronald Reagan. And Reagan was just amazing president, great articulation of the American exceptionalism and why we should be proud to be Americans. And it was a great time. So that's very, very consequential. I think Barack Obama was a huge shift in a weird way because, unfortunately, policy-wise, George W. Bush was. I mean, he wasn't great at especially his second term. I mean, big government was happening all over the place. A lot of people forget he actually instituted the big buyouts in the 2008 financial crisis, the too big to fail. That was him. I mean, he set all that up, just handed it over to Barack Obama, who actually just continued government takeover. I mean, it was not impressive, his ending. So, but Barack Obama ushered in just the vitriol and division that we see today in a bigger way. The racial tensions were probably at a pretty good level, actually, in America prior to Barack Obama. And after him, there has just been nonstop agitation between different people, which is actually what his specialty was. He was a community organizer, which is code for political agitator. That's what he was for the left. So that was extremely consequential, and more so because he's stayed, even though he did 2 terms. But he set up an office unlike any other president, and basically has had a de facto administration behind the scenes to this day. And so then you look at that. That was pretty consequential. That was a pretty big deal. But Jimmy, and I think most folks, especially on the right, understand. A lot of people in the middle understand that if we don't have a major change back from the Biden-Kamala systematic destruction of this country, if we don't have a dramatic shift, we're in trouble. And I think a lot of people underlying this, and they don't say this all the time, but underlying that is also the fact that we really believe it's pretty clear that the last election was stolen. And with the polls that show Trump winning right now, if we were to lose again, I just think that it would seal the deal that we don't have free elections in America. And I think that's more consequential even than policy. I mean, I think policy is huge. Obviously, we're being overrun by this on the southern border. I mean, our country is being systematically dismantled. But at least if we're choosing that destruction is one thing, right? I mean, if there's some comfort in knowing, well, it's a bad president, but we did pick this guy or this gal or whatever. Yeah. But to have the feeling that no matter how hard we campaign, no matter how many people we convince, no matter how well we vote, we're not actually getting what we voted for. That is a terrible, terrible feeling. And I think that's honestly where we are. I think that's where we are.
But why don't we feel any better about this 4 years later?
Because,
right? You know what I mean?
Because very little has been done.
I mean, do we still just have this distrust? And I'm speaking because I still do.
Right.
I wish I didn't, because I would think this would be 4 years later.
Right.
We've been through that mess where you don't trust anything, and my distrust has just continued to increase.
Well, what have you seen them do to fix it?
I don't know, and that's the whole thing. I could put myself like in the shoes of let's say I was working in Georgia in one of the polls, and I was what Andrea is doing, right?
Right.
One of the inspector.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't these things set up with Republicans and Democrats both in the same place, making sure that everything? Do you think that this year will be different because people will be way more cognizant?
I think without
of making sure it's going to be. I know. There's always been a little bit of cheating.
Right.
Unfortunately. Right. There's always going to be a little bit of cheating.
I mean, Chicago's famous for it.
Yes. So
I mean, it just is. It's the machine.
But don't you think the run of the mill Americans are going to be that are working these polls? That's who we have to trust.
Right. Right.
That they're watching
Right.
behind behind those barriers where we can't.
Right. I think the horribly helpless, terrible feeling that we had over 2020 is kind of similar to what we've seen from time to time now, and that is, okay, so say you have a violation. So say you have a Democrat say, which is what happened. We're all done counting for tonight. We're all done counting. Everybody go home, but the Democrats don't go home. And then we have them on video pulling these cases out from under the table and counting ballots. And that's when Trump lost these counties. Well, okay, we take the video evidence, we take the testimony of the Republican observers who were kicked out, and a judge goes, no standing, and throws it out. And I think that's what has been so frustrating is it doesn't matter what evidence we've had. The judicial system has been so corrupted and so partisan that they're not willing to do that. Now, I do believe things are different now for a couple of reasons. They're still going to try to cheat. There's no doubt about it. They have announced in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, hey, it could take us 2 weeks. It could take us 2 weeks.
They haven't even got anything.
I know. It could take us 2 weeks to tell you the results. And it's like, yeah, of course you could, because it's going to take you that long to cheat. Basically, if they see the polls are close, it's going to take a while. So that's actually, I mean, that's criminal. But that's an actual acknowledgement. We're going to try to cheat. That's because that's all that is.
So you don't think that they're going to take longer because they're going to try to make sure that
it's correct? No. It's electronic. You could know in an hour.
Except for the absentees.
Yeah, so that counting, though, starts, I believe that the counting of the absentees either starts that day or it can definitely start at 6 o'clock when the polls close. You can definitely start opening and counting them. I can't remember what the rule is, but we should still know that night. We should know. Absolutely. We used to know. You remember midnight, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, it would come in. And now they've developed this since we're state of the art. I mean, somebody said you can order a cheeseburger in your pajamas from your sofa and have it show up in, half an hour, but we can't decide the most important presidential election. It's all electronic. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but do you think there'll be the same number of absentee votes that were cast? No, because that was the COVID.
So early voting right now across the board is record numbers. It is Republican blowing away
backwards, right?
Oh yeah,
that's not normal.
And the Republican voting it's off the charts. I mean, right now, all indications are Trump is going to walk away with this. He's going to win Pennsylvania. He probably will win Michigan. He should win Georgia, and he's going to win Arizona. These are what the polling, everything. I saw a really interesting, you've heard of Rasmussen polls?
Yeah.
Well, their chief pollster, I can't remember what his name was. I should know. I'm sorry. But I watched a video of him, and he said that at no point, their numbers showed all year long, at no point did Kamala or Biden ever beat Trump. Ever. Yeah. They said, what we're seeing now is our numbers haven't even changed. We're seeing these other polls come to where we are, which is what Rush Limbaugh used to talk about. He said, you'll see these polls tighten, and he goes, and actually the race hasn't tightened. What you'll see is these pollsters all year long will try to influence the vote. That's all they're doing. Sure, yeah. And then when they get closer to the election, they try to be more accurate because they want some credibility. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be completely laughed at. So anyway, that's a theory anyway. But I do think that if you have a massive lead, I think if you have a lot of in-person voting, I think that's incredibly important. Yeah. I think do not vote absentee. Vote in person, and double check the other side of your paper when it comes out of that machine. Make sure it's what you voted, because we've had in states we've had where it's switched from where they vote to to what it prints out as, and then. I think also there's some big shifts society-wise that has happened. I mean, last time Zuckerberg gave $500 million to set up these what they call Zuckerbucks voting centers, and all it was Democrat cheat centers. Well, he's called that off. I mean, he's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
You got a lot of these just actual election statistics. Trump is picking up huge numbers of African-American men, huge numbers. He's winning in the Hispanic vote right now. He's walking away with the independents. I mean, these are huge voting blocks where Trump, from 2016, who won, shocked the world, surprised everybody, won. 2020, he actually did better than he did in 2016. I mean, we believe he won. I mean, it was right there. But regardless, from 2020 to right now, he's in the best shape he has ever been. Republicans are in the best shape they have ever been. Yeah. In the last several election cycles,
because
obviously.
of him. Yeah.
So it is looking really good. We are set to see an historic night if they can keep him alive, if they can protect him, and if we can stop wide scale cheating. And I just believe we're going to overwhelm them.
I'm going to go back to what you had said earlier. So you were talking about Barack Obama and the racial divide.
Yes.
And I remember when he was elected president, that was going to be kind of like, it was going to bring together.
Oh, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just super naive, right? But I don't think there's the racial divide that we think there is.
That's why they have to
not
agitate.
that we think there is, but that we're being told. I think that has been an absolute tool of the enemy for such a long time.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that there's not, disproportionate between different races. I understand that, but honestly, I think it's gotten a lot better. And I think if you would pull different races, I think that they would probably feel like it's gotten better. I mean, there's little sects of problems, but there's always going to be sects of problems of white people, problems of black people.
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be problem sections. I mean, it's just society. But I really think that we're a lot closer than we've ever been, but we're not being told that. We're being fed this stuff.
We're being taught the exact opposite. So when you have the diversity, equity, and inclusion officers in the schools, and you have the critical race theory, which is Marxism, only they use racism as the class warfare. When you have that being infiltrated into our colleges and our public schools, that is teaching division.
It is.
Because it's saying, because of the color of your skin, because you're white, you are automatically racist. And you saying you're not racist, you doing non-racist things, doesn't matter. You are automatically racist because of the color of your skin. You have a built-in racial bias. And if you're black or your skin is dark, you have an automatic disadvantage. And there are things you've been told like work hard, show up early, work hard, play by the rules. Those are all racist ideals, white ideals, and it's unfair to you, and blah 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 blah. And that is critical race theory. So what's happened is, you're right, at the base level, if these agitators would leave us alone, our communities get along. Yeah. By and large, they get along. And yes, there's, I mean, in some of your inner cities, but some of that is like, is that racial or is it gang related? I mean, is it just crime or is it actually racial? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm sure there's a racial component, but
it's just desperate people from both sides. They're just making bad decisions.
I think Americans want to come together. Look what's happening. So Trump is picking up the black community. I mean, he is making huge inroads in the black community that is traditionally voted 90% Democrat Party. If we see it materialize like it looks like it is materializing, then that tells you what? That they don't see him as a racist, that they don't see white people as their enemy, and why are they voting for him? Because they care about America and they don't want to see it destroyed.
They're worried about their kids.
Yes.
I know.
And I think we can, honestly, Jimmy, I think we can and should come together in America over our love of country and love of the ideals that have made America great, like Make America Great. And what has made America great? It's been the biblical values that we've had in the black community and the white community. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're I mean, there are huge amounts that go to church on both sides. It's not. There's no division there. It's not like they're worshiping false gods. And you know what I'm trying to say?
No,
We're not divided by religion. We shouldn't be divided at all. And so I think let's throw the agitators out. Let's throw the liars out. And that's why we don't want that taught in the schools. It isn't because we don't want the history of how black people have been poorly treated in America taught. Of course we do. We should learn from our history and our lessons, the lessons of history, and not repeat them, obviously. But we don't want it taught to kids that you're automatically one way or another because of the color. That's the exact opposite of Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah. The exact opposite. We're not being judged by the content of your character. We're being judged by the color of your skin. So
yeah, I think maybe it's just in my opinion, but I think if you would take 10 white men and 10 black men that are, let's say, in their 40s,
yeah,
and you would press them in the fact that where really do they actually have faith in God?
Right.
I bet you there'd be more black men.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I think that the black American community has a stronger foundation in the Lord than I think the white American community has. Maybe here's the whole thing, right? Maybe there's some people not living it in certain areas,
right.
But I do think there is a basis that's really strong over there, and that really actually can.
Well, the biggest
when it comes down to it, when do you truly feel that one of the closest times to God is when your kids are born,
right?
When your kids are going through tough things, when they're going there, that's when you feel really close to the Lord. And I really think that these people are going to look towards their kids and say, okay, this is a decision I got to make. This is not about my dad or my grandfather or his grandfather. This is about a decision I got to make today.
Yeah.
And that's why I really think it's all just a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to this whole
I think so.
racial divide thing.
I think so.
I don't know.
They talk about, I think, I've read Thomas Sowell. You heard of Thomas Sowell?
No, I haven't.
He's a black conservative philosopher. He's an awesome guy. An icon in the conservative circles, along with Clarence Thomas. But he had a book on racism, and he talked about a little bit about how it's actually encouraged in school, not in later on in high school, but certainly in college. He said you'll have black and white kids that absolutely got along their entire lives. No issues at all. Then they go to college
and they get
and they're told yes. And then they develop the animosity and the division, which just sounds like Satan anyway, right?
Oh,
I mean, that's what Satan does.
It is exactly what he does. He twists everything.
Yep.
All he's doing is repeating exactly what happened in the garden over and over.
Absolutely.
Like, did God really say?
Yeah.
Making you question you.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about these judges.
Yeah, we got to talk about judges. We got to do something. We got on.
Oh, I know. Totally off
totally
track, actually. That was not at all where we were going today.
Well, there was a suggestion from a very wise person that I know that we probably should go over, talk about some of the judges. So if any of y'all have voted early, sorry, because we're going to go over this now, but there's this part of the ballot, Andrew, you get to towards the end. So you get to the meat at the beginning, right?
Yep.
Ooh, I want to get who for president. And you go down and you're like, I don't know this person. Then you're like, county council, you usually have a pretty good idea who that is, and it helps when you can vote for 2 or 3 of them. But then we get to the end of your ballot, and so across the state of Indiana, the end of your ballot is going to be judicial retention.
Right.
I'll be real honest. I've always been the guy that votes like, this isn't, no, I'm overturning all of them.
Yeah.
No.
Me too.
And I don't know why, but here's the deal. I did find out.
I know why.
Since you've had long enough.
Yeah, well, I'm like, you know what? If they got appointed, because they're appointed.
They are appointed by the governor.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, if you got appointed, then you're so great. This is what I'm thinking. You're so great. Then they can reappoint you, right? I'm just...
Yeah, the next governor.
Had so many problems with judges, but yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so at the end, you got this judges retention. So I think this is real interesting. It asks you, so I did a little research on this.
Yes.
Started doing this in 1970. Since 1970,
okay, this is interesting.
There has not been any of all the judges turned over.
There's never been?
No.
I know. I
it's
always vote no,
like
and it's like a 70-20 or 80-20. I mean, I'm always getting
almost everybody votes yes, but I'm gonna.
Why do people do that?
Well, this year you want to.
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
so
this
let's
year-
not change it.
Don't throw them
Just keep
sideways
it
this year.
going.
Yes, but I always vote no too. I'm glad we think the same. Anyway, so we have 3 Supreme Court judges that are
Yeah.
up in Indiana this year. Chief Justice Loretta Rush, Justice Mark Massa, and Justice Derek Reed Moulter. So Rush was appointed. Loretta Rush, she's on the top of the list. She was appointed by Mitch Daniels.
Okay.
She's Chief Justice right now. You described her. She's pretty tough.
I described her.
You didn't you describe her
no,
that
not
way?
me.
Okay, must have been somebody else.
No, I don't know any of these people.
She's pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
The one key about these 3 judges, so Loretta Rush was Mitch Daniels' appointee, Mark Massa, Mitch Daniels' appointee, Derek Moulter, he was a Holcomb appointee, so strike 1 against him.
That's right.
But he's actually really good.
Okay,
So,
wow.
But anyway, these justices in Indiana have been the ones that have upheld our pro-life rights for the state, because you probably heard Trump say this over and over again, and everybody wants him to say that he is pro-life and anti-abortion and all this stuff, but he says, I want to put it back to the states.
Right.
Guys, this is the key.
Right.
I mean, all the rest of these, I hate to say this, besides the president, all the rest of these jokers on here, you heard me say it. This is the important stuff. The judges is the important stuff, just like the Supreme Court. So, maybe. Oh, you're removing yourself. He's removing himself. But anyway, if you want the most important part, Supreme Court judges, Indiana Supreme Court, this is where you actually, this is where the meat hits, this is like rubber hits the road here. They go up.
They're being targeted, correct?
They're being targeted
By
right
the
now
Democrat Party.
by the pro-abortion party.
With the Democrat Party.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so but they're being targeted right now, and they're trying to get a lot of people to vote no to retaining.
Yeah.
So to actually turn them over, because they were 3 really big judges in keeping Indiana the state that it is. A couple different keys with this. They go up in the first 2 years that they're on the court, and then they go up every 10 years after that.
Okay.
So that's why these Rush and Massima are at their 10-year point or more.
And this one's 2.
And he's at his 2-year point.
Okay.
The other ones, the appellate judges, this Peter Foley, Judge Peter Foley, and then a Judge Rudolph Reginald Pyle. So Rudolph Reginald Pyle he was the one that was a state cop at one time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good, and Peter Foley's really good.
Okay.
You can get online and you can read.
Okay.
And so I was a little bit suspect of Mr. Moulter here just because of the Holcomb thing.
Right. Sure.
And you can listen to his speech that he gave when he first took the office, which I wasn't really impressed with because there was a lot of humor in it. And I thought, you need to be serious, dude. But that's okay. But you do want to retain the judges, okay, this year.
Yeah,
that's our suggestion from Jimmy, maybe from Andrew.
Oh,
too.
absolutely. Yeah,
but-
I'm gonna make
Don't
a
go-
huge shift and vote to retain these folks,
We're gonna both do that,
which
But
could
I-
be a very bad sign for them.
yeah, which might mean they're gonna lose big time.
Right. Hopefully not. Hopefully
I hope not.
There's
either.
no humor here.
It's
Be serious, Jimmy.
extremely important that these guys they stay
absolutely.
in.
I agree.
Especially, when Trump's elected, and then
Yeah.
they put it to the states. We don't want our state looking like an absolute
Right.
Looney Tune,
No, it's absolutely true.
making crazy decisions. So
Have you ever worked polls?
I've never worked the polls, except that when I ran and I handed out stuff. At the polls. That wasn't working the polls. It was a royal pain. But
Andrea is going to be, my wife's going to be an inspector on election day. And just to let you know, in case you're superstitious, which we're not superstitious, we pray. We're not superstitious. No, that's a chain. It's
not
luck.
luck. It's
But
not
anyway,
luck. No.
just in case you were, the last time she worked the polls all day on election day was Trump's first victory in 2016.
okay, so she rigged it.
Yeah,
She rigged it.
right.
Do it.
So she's back in.
So where's our tub of votes for,
Right,
her pull
right,
out
oh,
for
geez.
Indiana that will go for him anyway?
Well, we
so
gotta close the vote, and then we can't tell you the results for 2 weeks while we
I'm
scribble
sure Andrew
on
would
some
be really
ballots.
good about lying about that
Our
stuff. yeah.
hands cramping from all the cheating. Good grief! That is just. There's nothing that makes me angrier than knowing that it's all electronic. They've got it in. They got 99% of the votes like that.
Absolutely.
And nothing comes for, till 4 a.m. and you'll get a 10%. I mean, this drives me nuts. Most of the counties, a lot of the counties in Indiana turn the results pretty quick. Vigo is terrible. And it's been terrible for a long time. And it's embarrassing that we're so bad.
I hope it gets better. I'll tell you what.
It won't yet.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
It won't until we get a new clerk.
The website is really good.
Well, good.
Have you been on the website yet?
I got the Vigo County website?
Yes, I don't usually do it, but I got on it today. The clerk's website is absolutely stellar.
Oh, okay.
Not stellar, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Way better than it was. I was impressed. I thought Andrew might have something to do with that or something.
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
Nope.
Well,
Nope, nothing at all.
The
So
website
I've worked polls.
I've never worked them.
Okay, so folks, if you're ever interested in working polls, it is a great thing to do. If you have time, you get paid for it. You can work early voting. They train you, whatever. So like you could actually do it as a side gig or a part-time job. If you're retired, a lot of retired people go in there.
Yeah.
You get it's kind of fun because you get to camaraderie with other people and all that kind of stuff, and you're a part of history. So on election day, especially on a presidential election like this one, they'll be very, very busy. So and you get a little bit of a paycheck, and you've done your duty, and it's a good thing to do. They're always looking for people to work. Always looking for people to work. Probably a little late. I think it might be a little late, maybe not, but this time of year, but definitely keep it in mind. A lot of people don't realize that, and young people too.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to do. When I was pretty young, actually, I don't remember. It was so long ago. I have to remember I don't even remember what the election was, but I worked in Freedom, Indiana. I was the sheriff. They called him sheriff at the time. I think they were inspector, what they call inspector now, for the whole day. You have to show up. At that point, you had to show up about 5:30 in the morning, and you stay with the ballots with your Democrat side, and you escort the ballots to the courthouse after it's done. We counted the absentees ourselves out the and any provisionals that we had, because you have some provisional ballots, people that aren't on the rolls but they still want to vote, and they say they're on whatever, then you are able to provide a provisional ballot where they can vote. And most of the time, if they're not it's probably not going to count, but it is, at least if we've made an error, or if there's an error, then they have actually voted and their vote will count. But so but what a great civic education, and you get to see how our votes come together. And to me, it's been super important to always be involved in your own government. I heard a really sad statistic that something like 30 to 50 evangelical Christians aren't going to vote in this election. Can you believe that?
Actually, I can. That's unfortunate.
I mean, Jimmy, this is like super important.
It's black and white, Andrew.
It is.
It's black and white who you vote for. I mean,
and to just take it so lightly or be so cynical about it is playing right into the devil's hand.
Oh, I know.
I mean, he loves the cynicism.
And it's a spirit of religion, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that they're showing is that spirit of religion.
Right. Yep.
Like, I don't want to vote for this person because they've got a rude mouth,
and they are mean in their tweets.
Yeah, mean in their tweets. So I can't really, as a good Christian, make sure I can vote for this person. Right. But
we're going to allow evil.
But in the same time, I guarantee you they're compromised in their life.
Right.
100%. Probably behind closed doors, they're compromised.
Yep.
But in front of everybody, they look like the golden Christian, and it just burns me to pieces. 37% is what Vigo County's turnout is. This is just all. In 2022, so it wasn't a presidential.
Right.
37% turnout in this county.
Yeah,
so 28,000 of 76,000
Yeah.
people voted. And this, I'm not talking about Christians. I'm just talking about Vigo County
as a whole. And that's the turnout of registered voters. That's not the turnout of people.
Yeah.
So it's even lower if you count people who aren't registered, because I don't even know what the percentage of people who are registered. It's not very high.
Yeah.
So a very small percentage of the population actually turns our elections. That's what people don't realize. You get involved, get informed, get involved, show up and vote.
And I really, we are the bellwether county. I mean,
Trump won this last time.
We retained it. I mean, I believe we retained it.
And so he's going to win it this time too. It won't be close.
Maybe our county will get us some numbers early though.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I just still bitter about not finding out about my race till four in the morning.
Yours was ridiculous.
And it's like everybody else's is in. I'm like, what is...
It's like every race
they would
was
let just enough in to know that I'm not doing well. But you can't really call it yet. But maybe. Anyway, whatever. Whatever.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Okay, so that's about all we had with that.
Oh, so we want to talk about school board?
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Not
know.
really.
Not really.
Not really.
Okay,
no. Good. So, folks, remember, if you vote straight ticket, this is just I guess it's just an informational meeting, but if you vote straight ticket, it does not go down to the school board for sure. School board is, quote, nonpartisan. And I roll my eyes at that because that is a joke. Here's the truth, Jimmy. Everything is partisan. If you have a pastor that gets up there and go, we want to keep politics out of whatever, that person is partisan. Every person is partisan because they all care about issues. They all do. Yeah. So to say it's nonpartisan means that they're not sponsored by a party. They're not officially put on the party ballot. So these folks didn't go through a primary. They're just here running now for the first time. So in that sense, strictly, they're not partisan. But find out about your school board candidates that are running. Find out what they believe, what they think, and if they've been in there before, then how they voted, and that stuff matters. It really matters a lot.
Shout out to Steve Top Guns Ellis. He, on his Holding VidCount accountable,
yeah,
he's got great videos with every one of these. He gave him about 7 minutes each.
Oh, is this recent or last
recent?
time?
No, this is recent.
Yeah,
he did a recent.
Job. He does a really good
He
job.
did almost everybody on this list. I watched all of them on the school board. You can't get a whole lot out of them in that amount of time.
Did he ask good questions?
Accomplishments, what they plan to do, and then he kind of touched a little on the referendum-ish.
Okay.
How do you feel about going for the referendum?
Another tax increase to build multi-million-dollar schools. I mean,
or not build one. Okay, so yeah,
right.
In 2027, the referendum's over. So this group here is going to have to be involved in that, what they're planning to do after that.
And there's only one of. So there's only we're electing two. Is it a 5-member board? I believe it is.
No, yeah. So there's 2 in District 1. So vote not more.
Oh,
than
2. So
2
3.
here and then 1 here. So 3 are elected this year. Yeah,
that's interesting.
So.
Okay.
Christina Chris.
Now,
Peggy
also,
Joyner,
does
Amy Lore.
the straight tickets go down to the county council?
They do not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So county council will not be selected either if you straight ticket. So
yeah.
Just don't be lazy. It takes a whole 15 seconds. I mean, if you want to go in there and, straight ticket showed y'all, I'm done. Just take 10 more seconds and read.
At the end, yes.
Please,
get a few
America,
more people.
read. That's all we need. Just stop for 2 seconds and read something. Right.
Okay, on a totally unrelated light note, how you doing in your fantasy football?
I knew you were going to bring it up. Andrew's in first. I'm in last. There we go.
Huh? I'm in first.
Yeah, you're in first. You have systematically beat every teenage girl that's played on our teams. And it's not like you even beat them by a little bit. I think you put in the best players you have so that you can oppress the teenage females that are playing.
I beat Drew pretty bad too.
Yeah, you beat your son pretty bad too.
I'm an equal
he didn't start
opportunity.
off that good, but
no, I didn't.
I
didn't. I'm actually shocked, but the team has come together.
Your team just hasn't got injured. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You can have the best picks and they get injured. So yeah, I'm down at the bottom, and I don't know if I can pull it out.
I mean, you've won 1 game.
But I've been close in a lot of them.
I know. It is a pretty deep hole. I will admit. I'm looking at it going,
whoa.
You're like, I'm out. I'm like, no, you're not. Ooh, you might. We got a little bit of time. Probably another 6
actually, so we have
maybe.
We have how many people in our league? 8?
Yeah.
6 make it to playoffs. Make it to playoffs, you can get beat first round, buddy.
Yeah.
So I just need to get into playoffs. I got to win some games, though. And
it's got to be.
I got to start paying my kids off for some trades. Something because it's not good.
Yeah, Andrea's doing pretty good too, and she's happy that she's ahead of you.
I'm sure she is.
That's her big.
It's funny how her luck ran out from last year to this year.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it?
It dried up real quick. Yeah, she
obsesses over
She
it.
went from riding high to being the humble quarterback. Is the name of her?
No, Humble Huddle. The
Humble Huddle. She's very humble now. Is in this.
And she's attributing her turnaround in the last game to the name change.
Well, you know what? Does she? How many of the Kansas City Chiefs does she have on her team? Because
I don't know. She
that
loves
team
them.
cheats worse than the
I know.
Patriots.
They're pretty bad.
They're
the refs
bad.
are in it with them. The refs are in it with them. It's
Don't
pretty
you think
bad.
so? It's disgusting, man. I mean, as soon as they start playing, I like Mahomes. As soon as they start playing, I'm like, every call that goes against their team, I'm like, rigged. Why am I doing that? Rigged. It seems like it though.
Yeah.
You know why? So one of my kids asked me, Dad, so why do you think that this is all rigged? And I go, it's Taylor Swift.
Probably true.
I said they get Taylor Swift on the thing.
Probably
They want her.
true.
They want her on the mainstream so that all the non-football watchers are going to watch because I see Taylor Swift up there.
It's probably true.
Up there in the booth. I mean,
How
give
old
me
is
a
Taylor
break.
Swift?
I don't have a clue.
She's not.
She's probably got
She's
the grace
not
of a
16,
12-year-old.
right?
No.
She acts like she's 16.
Well, that's the people that follow her.
And I'm like, when is she going to grow up?
I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
But it's just too bad when they get into Hollywood and they get compromised like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's. Boy, I mean, I don't mind going on further. How long have we been? Yeah, so we
good,
should wrap up soon. So let's talk real quick about the change in format here. So this is not a live show.
No.
I don't think we're going to do live shows in the future for special events, but it's not going to be a regular thing. It was fun while it lasted, but
It could come back.
Yeah, they could come back, but it actually works better for us, and I think for a lot of our listeners and viewers as well. If we take the time, record a video, and edit it, and then promote it out of the gate the next day or so. I get a lot more viewers. It's easier on YouTube, actually, when you go to YouTube and we do it this way, as opposed to the live, and you go to the most recent videos, you'll see this video, as opposed to on the live ones, you have to go search and multiple tabs to find what actually is the most recent video. So I think overall it works better for us to do this. So I think we'll do that. So what are you looking at?
Oh, I did not see this before I came in here today, but this is absolutely funny. So,
How can you read that?
well, it's really small, but I'm really young. I got good eyes. Have you seen these other Joker? I mean, I like RFK anyway, but that's probably another.
Oh, is he
another
still
day.
on there? That's interesting.
He's still on the ballot as the We the People Party, but I don't know who this Oliver. This one, his
Libertarian.
But anyway, I printed this list online of the people that are actually registered, and there is this
For president?
yes, there's this gentleman. There's a gentleman registered. His name is Andre with an accent mark over the E. McNeil. Andre Raymond McNeil Sr. He's an independent. Do you guys know him?
No affiliation.
No affiliation. I think you do. You know Andre? No way.
Well,
Oh, anyway, I just noticed that. And I was like, what the heck is this guy on the... How can I not vote for him?
exactly, but he's not on our ballot.
He's not. No, he's
No.
independent.
I mean, I didn't know that. I'm just guessing he's not on our ballot. I wouldn't know him or anything.
You do know this guy?
No, I have no idea, Jimmy.
He was spelled the same.
Oh, I mean, if his name's McNeil, all the McNeils know
And it's
each other.
Andre McNeil.
That's funny.
Andre
What's wrong with
Ramon McNeil.
And what party? Independent?
Independent.
I hate it when people do that. Why would you do that?
It's just a way to lose.
You can always tell your kids and grandkids, I ran for president.
I ran, but I really never had a chance.
I got 2 votes, me and your mom.
But you know what? I stood up and didn't make a
I
decision
stood up.
for either side.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I made a difference. I don't know. I was thinking
Andre
about that the other night.
McNeil. Yeah.
Oh, you were going to ask me about the Lincoln Day, which we just had.
Oh yeah. How was that?
It was great. It was actually really good. The program was fantastic. We had a speech by, so you had Greg Good get up and give a small speech, and he, which actually we need to talk about him real quick. Let's just take jump into this real quick. So you remember on the last episode, we talked about how ISU was censoring free speech, especially conservative writers. They canceled Rich Lowry.
Yeah.
Well, Greg Good, the state senator here, he's bringing him in. He's bringing Rich Lowry in, and then Abdul from Indianapolis, the lawyer, whatever. He's on WIBC a lot of times, has his own political stuff. So he's kind of a left Republican. He's Republican, but he's moderate. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you got Rich Lowry. And the guy who was canceled at ISU, he's bringing him into the convention center. They're having an event where people can hear him speak, and it's sold out. It's like tons of people wanting to come. They've had to expand the size. Greg Good, Senator Good said something about, we're making sure we have good security, which, I mean, it's kind of tongue in cheek because it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's not going to be a single solid. I mean, there could be a few. I went to an event.
That was ISU's reasoning, right?
Yes.
Security.
Yeah, for security reasons. Just absolutely a joke. Anyway, I digress. So he gave a great speech, introduced, he introduced, I believe, Braun. But anyway, so I heard Messmer, who's going to be the next congressman.
Is he pretty good? Or Bouchon's spot?
Yes. So I'm really happy about Messmer. I really am. I think he is going to be a great legislator. He has been a good legislator for Indiana in the state Senate. He's a solid conservative, and I just think he's going to be really good. Yeah. He's not the most charismatic speaker, no doubt about it. I mean, he just isn't. But it isn't going to matter. Yeah. So Greg Good, very good. Mark Messmer, and then Micah Beckwith, lieutenant governor candidate, got up and gave a great speech. Talked about he took his time to talk about the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence and what happened to them.
Oh,
and that's if you know that story.
Well, I mean that's really interesting because you just, instead of hearing just the same old stuff,
right? Yeah, right. That was very good. Real quick history lesson. It was really fun. And he just talked about, hey, we're the people that stand up, and if you think it's tough and getting called names, like the cuss words that he posted, which you want to talk about.
I didn't know we were going to mention that.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second. Okay. But don't lose heart. Basically, I mean, these folks paid with blood, sweat, and tears, basically, for the freedom that we now enjoy, and it's our turn to stand up, basically. So it was really inspiring. Yeah. And then Mike Braun got up there, and I didn't get – it sounded like Mike Braun's speech was really good. We were in the nosebleed sections, by the way. We were way, way in the back. Our tickets were free. So it was a steak dinner. It was a great meal. We had a little bit of an issue getting the steak just before – the meeting ended. So we were, like I said, in the nosebleed section. So they served in waves, but it was steak to order or salmon to order. I mean, it was awesome. Wow, it was really like 4 different kinds of steaks or 3 different kinds of steaks.
They were probably
and it was hard so good. Yeah, I can't even believe it. And the place was absolutely packed. Mike Braun gave a really good speech. I'm actually very excited about him too. And again, personality-wise, people are like, and I know he rubs some people wrong, but I think between Beckwith and Braun, we are going to have I'm really excited about the actual policy things that these folks are going to do. It's not so much getting caught up in people's personalities and are they charming or whatever it is. I think that both of those guys, I think they're going to move Indiana in the right direction pretty dramatically and pretty solidly. I really do. I think that's going to be really, really interesting to see the leadership from the governor's office for the legislature that we have a supermajority in already, so we can get some really good things done in Indiana. I'm excited. So he gave a great speech, but honestly, I didn't hear a ton of it because he did talk about how his wife talked him into his first. I know you're getting tired of this. His first step into politics.
I'm like hot cold with Braun, so I'm not.
I know a lot of people. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of people are. So, but his first step into politics, he didn't want to do it, but his wife turned down a school board, running for school board, and said, "Hey, my husband might be interested." So his entrance into politics was running for school board.
That's interesting.
And he really wants to encourage people. Listen, get involved. And I would like to say the same thing again too. If you feel called to run for an office, study about it, learn what it does, and apply yourself, or get involved. Definitely vote or work a poll. I mean, just get involved in your government. And I think I kind of like what Danica Kirkpatrick. Everybody knows who Danica Kirkpatrick is, right? What she said. She said, I told myself I was not going to be allowed to complain about the results of this election if I didn't vote. And she is voting for the first time in her life.
Oh, give me a break. Really?
Yeah, and she's voting for Trump, and she's making it very public about it. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, that kind of thing is really kind of cool to start seeing some of that stuff come through. So it was a great night. The program was really good. It was absolutely packed. And I think the mood of the Republicans right now is very cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a very, very good historic night on election night. So I think that's my prediction.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the cuss words put out by Mike Beckwith?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just let you guys wonder what that is.
They were on his social media.
He was quoting an attack ad that came against him. So, and Jimmy just thought.
I just thought it was kind of. I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't do it, but that's just me. And I mean, I just say I wouldn't put. He would put like word.
Yeah, like the actual word.
Like what they said about him. Whatever.
I don't remember what it was.
Bat blank crazy.
Oh, that's right.
And he wrote it twice in a post, and I'm like, hell no, I just don't feel good about that. I mean,
he doesn't.
No, I don't feel good about it. I'm not even a religious person, but I just don't feel good. I don't think you should be doing that. You're not represent. Okay, never mind.
So anyway, I think that's about all we have for now, and it'll probably be a couple of weeks. I mean, by the next time we have a podcast, it's going to be after the election, right? I mean, I thought about, wouldn't it be fun to do a live show like for the election? I think that'd be really fun, but there's just no way. And I wouldn't want to do it because, folks, when election night comes, I don't know how you are on election night.
I'm stressed.
But I am pretty much in the zone of what data
CNN.
Can I get? No CNN. CNN. Nothing from CNN.
I'm locked into CNN.
Nothing.
I cannot take my eyes off.
No. Not until Trump wins.
MSLSD.
Then I want to see it. I want to see the liberal tears.
And then you go over and watch liberal tears?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. I want to see them just talk about the demise of the United States.
I'd be lying and say if I never did that before.
I get so, I don't even want to hear from people. I'll get people texting me, what's it going, what's it doing? And I'm like, and I'll respond, it's fine, but I'm like, oh my gosh, what I want to know. I mean, and I think a lot of people are like that. What are you hearing? What's happening? And
we're just used to getting information really, really quick, and I feel like it comes extremely slowly.
Yeah.
For the election.
Yeah.
I mean, like
meaning we're winning.
I can ask like Gemini, my AI, something really quick. Boom! I've got an answer. Anything I want. But if you try to get election results, you guys sit around and wait
forever. Yeah.
We don't wait for anything anymore.
No. So, all right. So, wrapping up. Folks, thank you so much for watching or listening. We ask that you would definitely subscribe, hit the like button, and the little notification button so you'll be notified when we do a new video.
Share it with some people.
Please share it.
That helps also. If you just hit that share button, send it on.
Absolutely.
You can post it if you've got any kind of following. Even if you don't have a following and you and never post on Facebook or something, just post it.
Yeah, and another good thing you can do
a post.
Is you can go to andrewtmcneil.com. Yeah, that's andrewtmcneil.com and sign up and subscribe to that site, the Substack, and you will get an email out with a link to the video or a link to the audio.
Oh, there you go.
Every time that we post. So that's a great way to sign up as well. Also, sometimes I write a blog. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do, and you'll get that then too. So
yeah,
and nice. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything.
Don't go to Andre R.
No, don't do
McNeil.
that. No, don't do that.
Don't do that one.
No. He might be running for president. I don't know him.
I'm gonna Google him as soon as we get.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yes.
It sounds like he's Spanish. Isn't that how you'd spell it?
Andre.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the accent mark means, but maybe.
I feel like it is. Anyway, so if you want to send us an email, did you send that?
Yeah, that's the mcsquaredpodcast@gmail.com. The mcsquaredpodcast@gmail.com. And then obviously we still have social medias, Facebook-ish.
You do?
No, we don't. We have Instagram, and Drew runs that, but you can comment through there. But we appreciate you staying with us this long.
Absolutely.
And we hope you get out and vote and make your voice heard. Stay tuned.
We'll see you next time.
We'll be back.